Israeli cabinet approves ceasefire with Hamas that includes release of some 50 hostages. Jerusalem. AP, Israel's cabinet on Wednesday approved a temporary ceasefire with the Hamas militant group that is expected to bring the first halt in fighting in a devastating 6-week war and win freedom for dozens of hostages held captive in the Gaza Strip. The deal calls for a 4-day ceasefire, during which Israel will halt its military offensive in Gaza while Hamas frees at least 50 of the roughly 240 hostages it and other militants are holding, Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu's office said. The first hostages to be released are women and children. The government of Israel is committed to bringing all of the hostages home. Tonight, the government approved the outline for the first stage of achieving this goal, the office said in a statement. Media reports ahead of the vote said Israel would free some 150 Palestinian prisoners as part of the deal, but the Israeli statement made no mention of a prisoner release. It was not clear when the truce, brokered by the US and Qatar, would go into effect. Ahead of the early morning vote, Netanyahu said the war against Hamas would resume after the truce expires. "We are at war, and we will continue the war," he said. "We will continue until we achieve all our goals." Despite his tough words, the government statement said the truce would be extended an extra day for every additional 10 hostages released by Hamas. A longer-term lull could lead to pressure, both international and domestic, for Israel to end its war without achieving its goal of destroying Hamas military capabilities. The war erupted on October 7 when several thousand Hamas militants burst across the border into Israel, killing at least 1,200 people and taking hundreds hostage. Most of the dead were civilians, while the hostages include small children, women and older people. Israel responded with weeks of blistering airstrikes on Gaza, followed by a ground invasion that began over 3 weeks ago. More than 11,000 Palestinians have been killed during the Israeli offensive, according to the health ministry in the Hamas-run territory. It does not differentiate between civilians and militants, though Israel says thousands of Hamas militants have been killed. The invasion has caused vast destruction in northern Gaza, including the metropolis of Gaza City, displaced an estimated 1.7 million people and caused a humanitarian crisis with shortages of food, medicines, fuel and other key supplies throughout the territory. Israel has rejected growing international criticism and vowed to press ahead until it destroys Hamas military and governing capabilities and all hostages are freed. Hamas, an Islamic militant group sworn to Israel's destruction, has ruled Gaza since ousting the internationally recognized Palestinian Authority in 2007. Under Wednesday's deal, Hamas is to release roughly 12 hostages each day. In addition to the possible release of Palestinian prisoners, Israel is expected to allow additional quantities of humanitarian supplies and fuel into Gaza, Israeli media reported ahead of the vote. Wednesday's government statement did not mention aid shipments. While the statement did not say when the truce would begin, Israeli media reports said the hostages could begin to be released as soon as Thursday. The return of any of hostages could lift spirits in Israel, where the plight of the captives has gripped the country's attention. Airwaves are filled with interviews with families of the hostages, who include babies and toddlers, women and children and people in their 80s with health issues. The families have become a powerful force in Israel, staging mass demonstrations and marches pressuring the government to bring home their loved ones. They have made a central Tel Aviv square their headquarters, where evocative displays like a long white table with seats for all 240 hostages are meant to keep their plight in the public eye. But the structure of the deal could weaken Israel from various directions. Thanks for watching. Subscribe for more.